Just briefly who you're listening to today. I work as an international consultant. I work with trade, supply channels, and sustainability within supply channels. I live and work in the Netherlands, so I'm joining you today from Europe. It's evening here, but not really late. But even so, your lunch is my dinner, let's say. Also, I am the owner of my initiative, seeing you will also be listening in view of your initiatives. My initiative is called Straight Circles. That is my company dealing with exactly what I just explained, sustainability and even a transition towards circular economy. But now, before I introduce our guest speaker, I'm very happy we have her here because we're going to talk about value propositions, and we're going to do so by using someone who has taken all the steps that perhaps you are looking to do or are in the middle of the process right now. So we have a nice discussion to look forward to. But before that, I would like to ask from you if you could share who you are. And for that, I would like to ask you to go to either menti.com and enter the code as you see in the screen right now, or you can use the link shared in the chat, or just scan the QR code that you see on the screen. And when you enter Menti, you will get a question that asks you in which sector you are active. So that should give us a little bit of an idea who we have here in this audience today. So please just all take a minute to scan or click on the link or go to menti.com and enter the code. Let's see if we can already see some results shared. Yes, we can. We see business and professional services from wherever you are calling in from are in the lead at the moment, but things can change quickly with this number of participants. Education and training. Oh, we do have a lot of services actually here. I think more than half easily is about services, and then we have some clothing and textiles, and we have some food and drinks also. Okay, changing a little bit, but I'm still going to say services is in the lead, and the products are in the minority, and with different kinds of products, of course. So if you haven't filled it out yet, please do keep it coming. We'll have a look at it in a bit later on for us also to know who we have in the audience. But let's now return to the session, because I would like to introduce you indeed to our guest speaker, Paulina Cataldo, founder and CEO of Acción Circular. That's the only Spanish you will hear me speak. But of course, Paulina is fluent, but thankfully she also speaks English, so we will have the discussion in English today. Impressive background in industrial civil engineering and a diploma in Internet of Things. So you can also see where that background is coming from. And the interesting part now will be to see how we can turn that into a company and a successful value proposition. Paulina, I'm actually going to hand over to you so that you can say a couple of words about yourself and your company, of course.
Yes, thank you very much for the invitation. I'm very happy to share with you something that I have done the last years. So thank you very much.
Thank you. So, Acción Circular, what is it all about? What do you do?
Well, Acción Circular have a platform that allows connect every actor in the recycling chain. So we connect companies that need recycling services with transporters and recycling plants. And also we use sensors that allow automate the recycling pickings in the city. So with this technology, software and hardware, we optimize all the recollection of waste in the cities.
Okay. And what exactly is it that you offer then? So which solutions do you present to your clients?
Yes, we have three principal business lines of business models. The first one is companies pay a subscription for access to the platform and also solicit recycling services through the platform. And also with another line of our business, we can make workshops, give some tools for the companies to begin to recycle more and best that they do. And also we have a third line of business, and is most focused in recycling plants. The recycling plants can pay a subscription also, and they can obtain benefits to use the platform, and they can use our sensors for their own operations. So they can automate the recycling pickings from with their own transporters and improve the efficiency of the recollection.
Exactly.
Also, yes, and also we give this report through the platform and also equivalencies about the impact of your recycling.
Exactly. So this is what the platform would look like online?
Yes, yes.
And the sensors here zoomed
Yes.
in a little bit. So
Yes.
these are really practical things that you can put in a container, let's say.
Yes, we create our own sensors because there are sensors, exist a lot of sensors, Japanese sensors, European sensors, but are very expensive sensors. So we create like a cheaper line of sensors made in Chile. It works with their own batteries and 2G or 4G technology of connection to promote the scalability of the business model, because we want to share the technology with the companies. It's not very common that in the recycling industry, the companies use technology, a lot of technology for their own process. So with a cheaper technology, maybe they can be more motivated to use the technology and be more efficient, because it's very important be efficient in recycling industry, because if you put 1 kilogram of trash in a landfill, is a lot of cheaper, is cheaper than recycling 1 kilogram of this recycling material. So it's very important be more efficient.
Yes, exactly. So the need is clearly there, and you already are sharing a little bit like, okay, so the Chilean version option is going to be cheaper, maybe a lower threshold to start using. But you're not only looking and serving Chilean companies. So if you could share a little bit about your clients and perhaps the type of clients that you work with.
Yes, we work with different types of clients. We have more than 30 clients and more than 100 installations of these clients working with the platform. We work with supermarkets, hospitals, producer industries, well, logistic companies like DHL, co-works, hotels. It's very different, all the realities of these companies, but what we all have in common is that each company produce waste. So
yes,
each company have the opportunity to recycle it. So that is what they have in common. And we have a very successful case in Ecuador. We work with Corporación Favorita and also Gira. And we adapt our platform a little to share with Gira the possibility to automate their own operations with our platform. So they use our platform every day to manage more than 100 recycling points in all the supermarket of Corporación Favorita, or many supermarket of Corporación Favorita. So it's a very successful project that we have.
Exactly. So you have one overall problem that you want to offer a solution to, and that you adapt according to the type of player and their specific needs. You already started a little bit about what makes you different, because that's what we're all looking for here in this value proposition session, isn't it? What makes your company different? what are your results that you can show now? Because of course you have an impressive client base here. But what else can you share that makes you different as a company?
Well, when we create Acción Circular, we didn't know that there was other companies like us, but we have measured our impact. So our sensors allow to save a 30% of the cost of transportation because the transporters don't go to a recycling bin that is empty. Only pass or only collect the recycling bins that are full, and that information we can obtain with the sensor. And in other way, in interviews with our own clients, they say us that they have saved a lot of time because they don't need to use Excel to digitalize all the operation and then obtain a report, and they spend a lot of time doing that. So with the platform, when every different user is feeding, I don't know how to say it, but feeding the platform or putting all the data in the platform, you can obtain quickly a report, a consolidated report of the traceability of your operation. And also, that is something that is very important in recycling industry is that you need to know who transport your materials and also what which recycling plant obtain their materials, because that gives confiability of the process, and also you can allow all the laws that the companies must comply in the different countries.
Exactly. So you are efficient, you save time, and these are things you know that your clients appreciate, and that's definitely something that makes you different. And you already mentioned a little bit also that you do it differently compared to, for instance, Europe. I'm from Europe, I don't represent a company like yours. But even so, I think it's interesting to see where you can really say that you're different than the other players out there.
Yes. Well, as I say, we didn't know that in Europe exist many companies that do similar things to us compared with Acción Circular, but their focus is a platform only for recycling plants and sensors only for recycling plants, and a solution that is focalized. Their focus is their focus is improve their recollections of waste in the city or manage the waste in the cities. And if we want to solve a big problem in developing countries that they are not recycling almost anything, our average of recycling is very low compared with the reality of European countries. So we need to create a platform that can connect the different companies that need recycling solutions. The big companies have the solution. The biggest companies work with the big recycling plants. So they share knowledge and services. But the smaller companies like hotels, maybe schools, and pymes, SMEs, the small companies,
SMEs, small and medium-sized, yeah, SMEs.
Yes, companies, they cannot afford the price of obtaining recycling services. So we create this platform thinking in all the companies have the opportunity to recycling more, and all the companies can access to the sensors also. So that's why.
And there you also saw that, okay, in order for this to be interesting, you need to offer the complete solution and not split it up between different players, because that's basically also what you say that makes you different, really.
Yes. And if I compared our solution with other, maybe more local solutions, like R4 monitoring that is operating in Latin America, or Bigatech that is a company, a multinational company. Reselink is a Chilean company also. We think with the sensors, and also the different users, transporters, recycling plants, companies that need the recycling services, another kind of users, administrators. We can share a better services and complete services and a business model to our clients.
And of course, you also, because we've seen the companies you work with, and that's of course also a way for you to access really international markets, let's say, because many of them are active in more than one country. But you just also mentioned that the reality is different in different countries, and we were talking about Europe and Latin America, but of course that can be also between countries in Latin America. Is that also something that you bear in mind, that a multinational international company may be interested in your services in certain regions and in other not?
I think that Acción Circular actually can work in every country that need recycling services and maybe optimize their own operations. We create our solution thinking and in every reality, but in more complex realities. And I think that is the value of our solution, because when we need to solve a very complex model, we create a solution to solve that complex reality. So if it works in a very complex reality, maybe in other realities that the problem is more maybe solved, it's more easy to implement our solution.
Exactly. Because you have the core of your company, you know what it's about. It's about making it more efficient and increase recycling. And from that on, you see what's needed, basically.
Yes.
Exactly. Basically, I think you've said some of this, but maybe if you want to sum up also a little bit to the questions, what makes you better? Because that's the key question, actually, to all of you also listening in and trying to convert what you're listening to right now to your own situation. In the end, of course, you need to have some value that you can add to your potential clients. So how would you say you do that, Paulina?
Well, the common services of recycling services is that companies, recycling plants, go to their clients and they say well, I can move my trucks to your installations every week, every Tuesday of this week, and you don't have other option because I have to manage my own fleet of transporters, and I only can offer you that for this price.
Exactly.
And when we think in Acción Circular, if we are thinking in efficiency, we thought that maybe with the sensors, we only can move the transporter to your company only when you need it, only the day when your recycling bin is full. And that is efficient. We don't move a truck if your recycling bin is empty. So also that this allowed to companies that need the recycling services only pay for what they use. And if you need a recycling picking today, or I can move a truck with a network of transporters that are not my transporters. They are in the city moving, making services. So they can select what day or what picking they want to go for that. And in a few hours, you have the truck out of your installation. So I think that is a value that a big company cannot offer, because they have their own trucks, they have to pay a lot of cost of manage their own fleet of trucks. And I think that is something is very different from the common services.
Exactly. You're setting up the flexibility versus the standardized approach. And it's
Yes.
very interesting what you mentioned now also, because my next question was going to be how do you do it? How do you manage this internally? And I know you have a team and you can talk about them also, but this network that you just started to mention, I think it's quite impressive what you've built up, and I think it's part of your flexible solution, really, isn't it?
Yes. Well, something that I didn't mention is that we have a business model, an impact business model. obviously, is very direct, the environmental impact, because we are promoting recycling in the cities. But another impact that we promote is social impact. We work with transporters from the less privileged part of the society, and we include in our network of recycling. And if we can't work with these transporters because they're a little informal, and maybe big companies, they don't want to work with them because they need to allow some laws or comply some laws, we have a network of transporters. And if the transporter cannot take the service one day, we work with companies of transporters. And if in an emergency, in any emergency, if these companies cannot take the service that day, well, we can rent a vehicle with our workers, and they take the vehicle and go for the picking. We have done that in the past. It's not very common, but we can do it. And also we have a network of providers for give the recycling bins to the companies, and that is another line of services more related with the consulting business model, and that is a very complete services. If you see, it's a very complete services because we have the hardware, the software, we can give you education about recycling, we can give you the bins, we can give you the transporters and everything. So I think that is the rich, I think that is the value of Acción Circular, and the most different thing about other solutions that are in the market.
The flexibility in the plan B, plan C, plan D. And you already mentioned you need to be flexible also, I think, in your mindset to work with you. So I'll let you also talk about your brilliant team that you have a little bit, and how you organize things internally, because that's also, you know what you want to do. You knew when you started your company, of course, where you wanted to go. And then you need to get people on board, both the people who work with you in your company and around you, like we saw just now in your network that you have built. Yes. So your team.
Yes, well, I want to say that Acción Circular is a company that have more than 3 years old as a company, but as a project, we have almost 5 years old. So in the beginning, we have a lot of developers working with us, but now we are scaling in sales. So we are in another reality of the company. We have another objectives. So for have this team that we have today, we are thinking in promote sales, scaling sales. So we have a marketing area working with design area. We have a CTO for maintain our software. We have a lot in other working. We have a finance area that is very important for make the money enter to the company, and also commercial area too. But they have two different focus. One side or one hand, Gisela, for example, she is responsible to catch new clients, and in other way, they're responsible to have our present clients happy. So that is the way we organize our company. And also we have an operation area that is in charge to delivery all the services on time.
Exactly. Just out of curiosity, when you started the project 5 years ago, but your company really 3 years ago, how many people did you have on board then?
In the beginning, the first day that when we started the project, we were two people.
Exactly.
Me and a developer.
I think that's really encouraging for everyone listening in. When you start growing and you start scaling up, you can also divide the task, because I think many of us are also used to doing everything ourselves, because that's what you do as a small company. But yes, scaling up also means becoming more mature and more professional. So thanks for sharing that. Then my next question really will be, how do you actually get the services that you offer to your clients? And you already mentioned a couple of examples, and I know we have here in the slides also 2 examples that perhaps you could briefly just share with us how you get it out there to them.
Well, we have different channels to bring our possible clients, but I'm going to share only 2 with you today. OXXO is a very special case that we obtain through email marketing strategies. We send, we were looking in LinkedIn for maybe sustainable managers, marketing managers, operation managers, and we make stay in touch with OXXO. I don't know how to say it, but we begin to talking with OXXO yes. In that opportunity through only an email. Hello, we offer this kind of services, and are you interested? And OXXO say yes. Unfortunately, they needed the services in that moment, and we begin this project. And this project is about put recycling bins next to the supermarkets. All these recycling bins have sensors, and we work with these collectors that I talked you in the past slides. And we have more than 10 these recycling bins, and it's a very similar project with Gira in Ecuador, but in a more smaller scale. And also we have this project, Gira put in touch with us through our webpage. So we pay for ads in Google every month, and we have a lot of careful about what kind of words we want to use in Google for the help companies to
the keywords to reach the right audience.
Yes, and well, Gira stay in touch with us through our webpage, and we began to work in only a month for the first contact. In a month before the first contact, we began to share our platform with Gira, and they began to administrate more than 100 recycling bins in all Ecuador. And that was a very successful case, because we were only paying like $100 every month for these keywords in Google. So it's a very successful experience, and we have more like 2 years working with Gira. And we are exporting services to Ecuador, and also Corporación Favorita. We work with Corporación Favorita in a project that we develop an app for the clients of all their supermarkets to allow them obtain points for recycling in these recycling bins. So they can obtain these like coins or green coins or points for recycling, and they can change these points for a discount in products in the supermarket. So we have more than 10,000 users in all Ecuador using every day the app for recycling.
And they find it physically at the supermarket where they do their shopping.
Yes.
So the final user from both examples you just mentioned, OXXO and Gira, those you find at the supermarket, but the difference was, one, you were contacting proactively through LinkedIn, basically, and reaching out. And the other one came to you because you made sure that you were able to be found. Equally important, yes. I would say. So that's how you reach out. So thank you for sharing that. And then reaching also my final questions slowly, because we do want to have other people ask questions too. But how do you make sure that your value proposition, the way you have it and the way you reach out to your clients, that it still works and that you're on top of the game and that your clients are still happy, basically?
Yeah, okay. Well, we make interviews to our own clients. Each time that we have the opportunity to talk with our own clients, we ask some questions like, what you like most of our services? Do you like the platform? Do you like the reports? What do you want to change about the service? Have you ever talked about with other companies, with other recycling plants? Maybe they are offering new services. So we have this maybe a very good practice to have a very fluid communication with our own clients very frequently, and we socialize this practice with all the team. So if you have the opportunity, don't matter if you are from finance, from operations, from sales, from marketing, it don't matter what is your responsibility. You need to focus your effort in make our clients happy.
Exactly.
And also we make surveys. Is a more formal way to obtain information from our clients. And also we made market studies in the past. In 2021, we contract a company that make interviews to our clients. So that is very different because our clients were they were responding to a person that they don't know. So maybe they will have more confidence to say things that they will not say to us, because maybe it could be bad reference, maybe could be. So they have the opportunity to share their opinion with confidence and in a secure space. And that was very, we obtained a very good information from our clients in that opportunity. So with all this information and also studying very closely our competitors, we can improve our value proposal continually.
Exactly. You change as the market changes and as everything evolves. Basically, you put something out in the market, but that will change also, won't it? Because there are more players and the market itself will change.
Yes.
Paulina, I'm going to thank you for now, but stay tuned. I want to quickly bring it into the focus of the value chains challenge that we're talking about today. So stay tuned for some questions that people may have for you later on. But basically, to sum up what we've been discussing just now, is that, of course, you as a company, you know why you have your companies, what your values are, and your drive and the purpose that you exist. But to be successful, of course, you need to be able to transfer this and convey this in a way that clients also understand what you can do to them. So basically, you need to express the added value that you can offer from a buyer's perspective. And that's a bit what we heard Paulina say here. There is an overall goal and what we want to achieve, but every client is different and needs a different solution. So basically, the value proposition really is the heart of your company. It's your starting point. And from there on, you can reach out in different directions depending on what your clients want. Now, let me just share with you this slide. The competitive differentiator of your company. And the interesting part about this one is that you see one side being the business, that's you. What do you offer to your clients? And then, of course, the other side being the client. Who do you offer your products to? Who are your clients? How can you define them? What makes your offer different? And how do you deliver the product? If you look carefully at this slide, you will recognize that all of these questions in the discussion Paulina and I just had basically came back also in our conversation. So you will recognize these questions, and that is on purpose. And to be even more concrete here, this is something, if you haven't had a chance yet to sign up for the Supplier Development Program, at the ConnectAmericas Academy. The link has probably already been shared in the chat, and if not, I'm sure Daniela will share it right now. This is where you can log in and follow e-learning modules, self-paced, at your own time, whenever it suits you. And then the masterclasses, like the one we have today, will come in and give you that practical input on what it's all about. So the content here, everything we've been discussing, has actually been around this one example from Module 1, Lesson 1 in the Supplier Development Program. You can go to the website, you can sign in, and you can just join all the modules that are available out there. And the very interesting part also about this is that it will help you get started with your value proposition. If you have one, see if it still works. You will have downloadable documents with templates that you can use, a lot of assistance for you to get it right. The sort of balance there between you as the business and what you're all about, and the balance between what buyers, clients, customers, users are looking for. And as Paulina just shared also, it means constantly looking like, okay, are we on track? Do we need to adapt? Do we need to adjust? The world is changing and your company needs to move along with it. So define and redefine and keep going. But of course, always remain yourself and who you are as a company. So just quickly, you can register at the ConnectAmericas with your company profile. You can enroll in this program. And then, as Daniela mentioned in the beginning already, every 3 weeks or so, we will have a masterclass dealing with content that you have seen there or that you will look into more closely after you've listened in to a masterclass like the one we have today. And with that, Daniela, who has been keeping an eye on the chat and the Q&A, perhaps you have some questions for Paulina or myself.
Well, today we don't have technical questions, but since our audience is mostly women, and I think every company that has joined today is a women-led company, I think it would be interesting if, Paulina, you can tell us a little bit about, very briefly, just how has it been for you to found a company, to deal with clients and to lead being a female entrepreneur?
Well, I think from the beginning, it wasn't very different from me be an entrepreneur like a woman or a man. I didn't feel a difference from the beginning, but when I became mother, I think the reality changed, because now I work a lot in nights. So I need to be to make a extra effort to comply every responsibility that I have in the company. So I work from the 8 a.m. or 9 a.m. until 6 p.m. when the nanny goes. So I share time with my child, and then at 9 p.m. I can take everything that I need to that I leave and begin to work again. Because when you are an entrepreneur and you have a company, you need to do a lot of things, and sometimes you don't have all the time for work in weekends. I have a child, so I can't work on weekends, and that was a very responsible decision that I take for share time with my child. So I think that is a very important difference that we have moms and women from maybe our peers. And also in Latin America, I think is very important having in mind that our reality, like women's, we have difference with men in our work, in industries, and there are spaces that as women we don't occupy, or we are not the more people working in that spaces like technology. So I have to maybe share these spaces with men, and sometimes I think our culture don't help to make business in some spaces. Being a woman sometimes don't help in some cases. So I think it's something we need to have present when we are entrepreneur, and try to manage, and also talk with maybe oldest entrepreneurs and women with more experience that could be mentors for you, and obtain some advices from them, for more mature women that have passed these situations, making business, and could be useful for do it better when you confront other realities, other men in some business.
Absolutely. I think that is one of the main reasons why we that women Connect Americas for Women exists. We know that there's difference. We know that it's not the same to lead a company when you're a mother, when you have household responsibilities. But that's what we're here for. And thank you so much for sharing your experience and for being here today, inspiring all these women from Latin America. So if we can share the the survey. Thank you. Before you leave to our audience, I'm speaking, it would be great for us to know what you think of this session. It is super important for us to have your feedback, to know if you like the content and what kind of content would you like to see in the next master classes. So we're gonna share a link. Do you have it?
I have it, but I would need to stop sharing this one. Donna, maybe you have the link at hand for the forum?
Yes, 1 second.
Thank you very much.
We're gonna share it in the chat. So if you could just fill out the survey real quick, it will take you a couple of minutes. That would help us a lot. It's there, it's a Google form. It will take a couple of minutes. We would really like to know if you like this masterclass, the content, and what kind of topics would you like us to discuss in further sessions. Well, while you fill in the survey, remember that this session is being recorded. It will be published in the ConnectAmericas Academy in the Supplier Development Program space. So you can rewatch it there. You can rewatch it in our YouTube channel as well. We'll be sending the information for the next master classes through email as always. That will be in June. If there's any other question, we have a couple of minutes before we close the session.
And just still a thank you from me to you, Paulina, for sharing so openly. I'm pretty sure we have some mothers out there because you got a lot of support when you shared what it's like being a working mom. So I think many of us could recognize what you were describing.
Yes, exactly.
I know. That is why I mentioned it.
That's how it is to have these conversations with women. A lot of support. Well, I think we can close our session here. There's just yes, I think we can close our session here. Thank you so much, Paulina, Tove, for this session today. It was great to have an audience of 30 women that were listening this whole time. Yes, we had a topic for discussion that we can maybe retake in further sessions about technical support in regards to structure and innovation. Thank you for the topic. I think we'll talk about this later. And yes, we are taking into account service companies. And just before we leave, I just remembered mentioning this before. There is a business matchmaking event happening in June, Outsource to LAC. You should be receiving emails about this event through our emails, but if not, you can contact us at Creciendo Juntas at ConnectAmericas.com, because we are giving sponsorships for companies to attend the in-person event. That will be in Jamaica. So if you have any questions, this is the last thing, Creciendo Juntas. So if you have any questions about the session of today, our program, or maybe Outsource to LAC, or any of the other services that Connect Americas is offering right now, you can write us to Creciendo Juntas at ConnectAmericas.com. We'll be answering all of your questions. This is a business matchmaking event for service companies. So that's a great opportunity for all of you. Thank you everyone for attending. Thank you, Paulina, Tove. Have a good evening and a good weekend.
Thank you very much. See you all in the second masterclass.
Thank you. Bye-bye.